Taurus, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation. In this video, I'll review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your day-to-day. All you need to know to understand these messages is your birth date. That's it. Everything else I'll translate for you. I'm going to start out really broad with the big stuff, and then Taurus, I will whittle that down into Taurus specific information that you'll want to watch. And then I'll break everything down into the 3 decans or group of 10 degrees of Taurus so that I'll know exactly what aspects are forming to your natal sun, because you'll see that all Tauruses are not being impacted the same way. So let's get into the big stuff. I have it all written down. This is for the week of September 7th through the 13th, 2023. This is a calm week, and thank God. This is a week of being able to finally take a breather, and I don't think it's the calm before the storm. We do have more contentious energy more toward the end of the week, but I honestly don't think even that's rapturous. I think ultimately this is a week where we can settle into retrogrades. I know Venus is direct, and that directly impacts you because Venus is your ruling dignitary, but everything else is still in retrograde except for Venus and Mars, which are sextile this week, and that is really sensual, sexy energy. We're going to get into that as well. Ultimately, though, there's a lot of optimistic and very helpful energy. Let's get into it. We have a Mercury retrograde conjunct the Sun, and this is beautiful, impactful, aha, awaken, oh my God, I never realized kind of energy that's going around. In addition, Mercury is trying to Jupiter up through the 9th. So the Sun is trying to Jupiter all week long, which is optimism of all optimisms. This is it's optimistic, just general optimism, hopefulness, as well as sort of courage and openness. Yeah. And then we have Mercury in there as well through the 9th. That's really broadening and expanding. I mean, this is a time for information to come in and change us, like shake us awake and make us realize what we haven't realized in the past. This is really terrific energy for aha moments, for education, for finally getting it. Beautiful energy. We also have Venus doing her part. She is sextile to Mars all week long. This is sex. This is hardcore, extremely sensual, sexy energy. This is going to be something that you feel. It could be general overall arousal or flirtation, definitely vitality and getting your feeling, your mojo really pumping. This is a sexy time for flirtation with strangers, for going out on dates, or just accentuating the relationship you already have. Venus is also square to Jupiter and trine to Chiron. So this is all about sort of melding into our own indulgences and knowing what we like, but also taking responsibility for where we may have overindulged and gone into excess. But it's still about pleasure. So that makes the sextile to Mars even bigger because Venus is square to Jupiter and sextile to Mars. This could be taking our pleasure centers to the extreme. And then we have a trine to Chiron, which is Venus trine Chiron is healing our sense of self-worth, healing our beauty, being able to maybe heal the way that we look in somehow, or heal our relationship with the way that we look or the way that we feel about ourselves. Learning to heal and make better choices that help to increase our value instead of decrease our value. So this is really an energy of learning all ways around, almost realizing in some ways, you know what, you got options. There's better out there. Don't stay stuck. It could even be in along with Mercury conjunct the Sun, trine to Jupiter, like an aha moment where we realize, yeah, I don't have to stay stuck. Maybe I'm attracted to things I never even realized I was attracted to. You'll see that Venus will eventually next week start to get back into a square with Uranus, which will also be sort of oddball, you know, a sense of wanting something different or seeing things in a different way. And that's really wonderful energy because it makes me feel like we're kind of healing our value systems. right? And through this, we're realizing that there are many things that could pleasure us, not just the things that we've grown accustomed to. And it's during retrograde, upon review. By the 12th, Mercury is going, by the 9th, by the 10th or 11th, Mercury is going to be in a loose opposition to Saturn, where we will start to feel oppressed in our speech, or that we're sick of what we can't say. And then we'll also have on the 12th, the Sun in opposition to Neptune, which is heavily distracted. But if you look at the charts and you see the Sun is going to be in opposition to Neptune, but Neptune is still sextile Pluto and sextile Uranus, and there is a trine between Pluto and Uranus. So ultimately, it's almost like, in some ways, where have we been deceiving ourselves? What has been distracting us, right? That's that Neptune Sun energy. We keep getting distracted. We keep being led astray and easily taken advantage of because of it. But if we stop before we let somebody take advantage of us, and we say, okay, why does my mind keep going there? These distractions are trying to point me in the direction of what I actually desire. And if I can accept that and own it, and then start to do something about it, I could have an entirely different outcome than being distracted by letting somebody else lead me in the direction they want me to go by putting the proper bait in front of me. If instead I embrace my desires, then nobody can bait me because I'm working on it myself. So there is an opportunity here with using that retrograde reflection to say, okay, why does this keep distracting me? And what am I missing? Or why do these desires exist? This is a very important time to do it, and a great opportunity for this week. So, I also wrote this down, and this impacts you guys. Venus is quincunx Neptune, and Mars is quincunx Uranus, as they are sextile to each other. So this could really lead to unexpected, surprising things happening. Things that kind of pop out of nowhere and definitely, I think so. I'm just going to stay with surprise. I think surprises, especially with your romantic relationships, and that could be anything from not expecting to meet somebody to something else coming up in your relationship, or being attracted to somebody that you normally wouldn't be. Surprising things, but with that heat between Venus and Mars, it could definitely get into the physical. Just an FYI. Just an FYI. Let's go into Taurus specific information. So I focused down on two things for the zodiac signs. First, what's happening in the zodiac sign, and then what's happening to its ruling dignitary. In Taurus, we have Jupiter at 15 degrees. Jupiter has just gone retrograde technically, but it still hasn't retrograded back out of 15 degrees. So all this week, it is 15 degrees. And then Uranus is going to be retrograding from 23 degrees to 22 degrees Taurus. Now, Venus is in Leo, and she has been for a while, and she will be for a while longer. She is moving direct now, but still not that fast. So she's only going to cover 1 degree. She's moving between 12 and 13 degrees Leo this week. So she's still in the second decan of Leo. That will put her at square to those of you who are in the second decan of Taurus, and we will talk about that in a bit. Venus is square to Jupiter, quincunx to Neptune, sextile to Mars, and trine to Chiron. So she is definitely feeling her oats and feeling a sense of strength and security that she hasn't for a while. She's taking action and she's changing the game. So this is real, this is real change kind of energy. This could be really good for your finances, sort of feeling things come back online, starting to pick up, value systems to start light up again. Based on, especially with that trine to Chiron, a sense of wisdom of what needs to be repaired and what actions I have to take to do so. But really, Venus square Jupiter makes me think this week that she's more aware that there are so many things out there that could pleasure her. And she doesn't have to keep herself stuck or defined by the old shit. And certainly shouldn't keep herself stuck by her pleasure centers through addictions, etc., etc. So let's get into the 3 decans of Taurus. If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Taurus, it's in the first decan of Taurus, and you guys are Taurus ones. This correlates to Taurus birthdays essentially in April. So anyone born between, say, April 22nd and the 31st, that would be you guys. That would be Taurus ones. Your natal suns are quincunx to Mars, which means there's definite agitation and stimulation when it comes to your desires, your energy, your vitality, what you want to take action on. From the 10th onward, your natal suns are trine to Mercury retrograde. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's an easement, and for you guys, maybe an awareness that can come to you based on things slowing down or things reversing themselves that you need to see in a different way that makes you realize something. So the Mercury retrograde actually acts harmonious to your life because it helps put things back into perspective. It's almost like one of those little flip books, right? Where if you flip them the opposite way, they'd show another. Well, that's the kind of thing. It's almost like in retrograde, it's flipping it another way. And if it hadn't been flipped that way, you would have never seen it. But now you do, and it can really work for you to enlighten you. So that's a really wonderful thing. Still, yeah, I would say that. And then we have this sextile to Saturn, which is long-term, and it's all about growing up, assuming leadership, and moving forward with taking what you want to do in the world seriously and having people take you seriously for it. So over this year, lots of career opportunities. Okay, right now everything is in retrograde, so don't take that personally, but ultimately throughout the year, but over the course of the year, this will actually help open up doors for you, especially in your career. We also have a square to Pluto, which is really mainly for the cusps, so April 22nd, 23rd, maybe 21st. You guys are square to Pluto, will remain square to Pluto throughout next year. There is this major energy of don't mess with me, like just radiating off of you. And it's not something that you can avoid or change. And for the next couple of years, you might see that people are getting extreme reactions to you, even without you intentionally doing it. You could also notice intentionally, consciously, that you've become a lot more extreme. Like, I'm not going to tolerate shit. And that's wonderful as long as you don't isolate yourself from people or burn too many bridges. Just an FYI. Let's move on to Taurus 2. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Taurus, it's in the second decan of Taurus. And so you guys are Taurus 2s. This correlates to Taurus birthdays May 1st through May 11th. We have a conjunction to Jupiter, which is optimism, but also big-headedness. It all depends on the way you let the energy flow through you. So very optimistic energy, but also with that square to Venus, this could mean a lot of overindulgence, especially in how you see yourself, an overestimation of your own particular value and worth, and that could lead you to some challenging situations, especially in romances. We also have a trine to the sun, so you'll be extremely optimistic this week and very courageous, and a trine to Mercury retrograde through the 9th. So this is a week of illumination and enlightenment for you to be able to recognize things that you had not been able to before, aha moments that could actually help you along your path. I said some major insights into laws, rules, or restrictions. I said this majorly because I don't know why I said that. I don't have the charts in front of me. Hold on a second. Some major insights into laws, rules, and restrictions. That could be because Mercury is leading up to an opposition to Saturn, that I might have written that down. Either way, I think there's insights that you did not expect. And with that conjunction to Jupiter, square Venus, this could be the week that you actually are brave enough and bold enough to allow yourself to accept the new and act upon it. Interesting. And then we have Taurus 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 3s. This correlates to birthdays generally between the 12th of May and the 22nd of May. Your natal suns are conjunct to Uranus. And I said weird life. And this is why. When you have a relationship with a retrograde, with a long-term relationship or long-term aspect with an outer planet, which is what you do, outer planets are the long-term aspects. This could affect you throughout years of your life. And so when you do, it may be that you lose track of the aspect. You don't feel it anymore. You don't feel the shift of it anymore. It just becomes background noise. But in retrospect, when you look back on that time of your life, you'll see the influence of that planet. So this is Uranus, conjunct your natal sun, which would bring out your weirdness as well as your uniqueness, individuality, and sense of independence. And this could really be when that ramps itself up. And when would you notice this? You may be conscious of it now, but overall it will be in retrospective. We are in a retrospective now. This is that time in your life when you will start to be able to take a step back and realize how shifts have occurred in your life. And this kind of expansion and awakening could happen with Uranus conjunct your sun. It could happen at in any retrograde season, to be able to look back and really take a look and see how much have things changed. To demonstrate to yourself how far you've come and how much you've changed. We have a long-term trine to Pluto as well, which gives you a formidable energy that people trust. So in other words, people are not, like with a square to Pluto, like Taurus ones have. With a trine to Pluto, people are very comfortable with you being forward and extreme. You're also getting another comfort yourself with the taboo, with things that other people may have thrown away. So there is this wonderful power in that harmony with Pluto for the next couple of years, where things just won't intimidate you as much and people will actually like you for that. We also have a long-term sextile to Neptune, which is all about creativity. Sextile to Neptune brings out opportunities with your own creativity and for others. Expand and broaden your mind through your imagination, as well as broaden your life and your possibilities through your imagination. If you are at the cusp, so this would be the cusp between Taurus and Gemini. If you are basically May 21st, 22nd, 23rd, your natal suns are square to Saturn again. Now, Saturn had been going direct and had been at 7 degrees Pisces. And so your natal suns would not be square to Saturn at that point. But now Saturn is retrograded all the way back to 2 degrees. And it's most certainly for the next month or so going to be square to your natal suns. That could put restrictions or a feeling of heaviness and a loss of control on you. This sense of really feeling stifled or having butting heads with laws, rules, and authority. So this is just something that you might find yourself butting heads with, or even just butting heads with systems or being stuck, dealing with the expected and getting a headache from it. All of those things could be happening with a square to Saturn. You let me know in the comments below how this energy is impacting you, Taurus. And please remember to like this video, show some love, and share this video with people you think would enjoy it too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us grow over on Astrology Motivation. And then come on over to Born Without Boundaries for your week ahead tarot card reading. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.